Edward Chen is the founder, president, and CEO of Biometrics for All, a software company that specializes in the biometrics processing for the background check and criminal arrest booking markets. Born and raised in Taiwan, Chen is a 25-year technology veteran who has designed and architectured technology websites that are used by millions of people around the world. His education started here at Northwestern, earning a bachelor's degree in industrial engineering and a master's in management. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome to the podium Edward Chen.
Thank you, Dean Otino, for the opportunity to speak here today. I also want to thank the parents and friends of the 2018 McCormick graduating class who made this celebration a priority. I'm sure it means a great deal to them. Dear graduates and honored guests, when I received this invitation a few months ago, I was so honored and thrilled that I didn't really think about it before accepting. As the date got closer, I started to become more nervous because I'm thinking, what can I offer to a group of students with such exceptional credentials and education when I see myself merely as your peer? My mind started to draw blank, and I panicked. So you ended up with a speech about my life. I was raised by very strict parents, and my father earned a PhD in education administration and was a lifelong educator. He was a teacher who later became a principal and then president of community colleges and eventually universities. I was brainwashed by my dad to believe that I can excel in life with higher education and never become a teacher, a principal, or a university president like him. No offense to the educators in the room. You see, he wanted me to become an engineer, while I wanted to become an architect. I went on to earn a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in engineering from Northwestern. So I guess you can figure out who won that battle. You may have heard that the older you get, the smarter your parents become. Interestingly enough, my parents got smarter as I got older. I now realize that my father was right, that I would become a good engineer and get ahead in life. However, I did not understand what he meant by a good engineer until years after I received my degrees. To be honest, I don't think my father did either. Being an engineer isn't all about formulas and modeling and hypotheses and proofs and programming codes. It's really about identifying problems, applying fundamentals and sound logic, and then creating the most effective solution through trial and error. And true engineers do this daily. Let me give you an example. At every restaurant, it drives me crazy when I see someone cleaning a rectangular table by wiping in random circular motion. I would stare at the person intensely and scream in my head, why can't you just wipe the table in perfect straight lines, up and down, and 90-degree turns at the edge of the table, overlap by a quarter, until every inch of the table is covered and nothing dropped on the floor, and 25% of the table was wiped twice. Don't you all have the same thoughts? All right, maybe that's why people call me that I have OCD. But I could have been called worse, like a perfectionist. Right. Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, once said, 95% of employees answer this question incorrectly. And the question was, why do companies hire you? Most employees answered to do a job, take care of customers, produce products, sell, or manage. His response was brilliant. Companies hire you to solve problems. If you cannot find problems to solve or cannot solve any problems, then you are the problem. The more problems you solve, the more you're paid. The bigger the problems you can solve, the higher the ranks you can climb. As a business owner myself, I couldn't agree more. Luckily for all you engineers in the audience, we are wired to solve problems. We are trained to solve problems. And Northwestern has prepared you well to solve big problems. So in the future, if you do not get paid enough, or climb the corporate ladder fast enough, or fail to build a successful business, You just need to reflect and remind yourself to just be an engineer, and everything else will follow. Like most of you, I was a foreign student while attending Northwestern. I grew up in Taiwan, and at age 12, my father came to the US to pursue his PhD. 6 months later, my family followed him to this amazing land of opportunities. And that's when my engineering career kickstarted. My first job assignment was to bring everything my family needed to begin a new life in the US, and I must do so with precisely 8 luggages. Using my kindergarten and elementary school engineering training, I was able to utilize every square inch of all 8 luggages. I carefully packed pots, pans, dishes, utensils, clothing, jackets, coats, books, and even a bicycle. Each luggage weighed 80 to 90 pounds. When we picked up these suitcases, 3 of them broke through the seams and were held together by duct tapes and bungee cords. Looking back at it, I'm pretty sure that my engineering marvels resulted in years of chiropractic therapy for several airline employees. And I single-handedly changed the entire airline industry's luggage policy. So every time you paid a $100 overweight luggage fee, you have me to thank for. I got on a plane for the first time in my life. 2 connections, 30 hours later, we went from a middle-income family to a family living close to poverty. It was then I realized that I had to put all my engineering might to work and make my own money. That summer, I started with a newspaper delivery. Back in the days when people still read newspapers instead of iPhones and iPads and kids delivered newspapers. I woke up at 4 a.m. every day, and on Sundays, I had to figure out how to carry 150 pounds of paper while riding a bicycle for 40 minutes to my route and deliver paper for 2 hours. After a few rounds of trial and error, I engineered a solution to maintain perfect balance between the front, the rear, and 2 backside baskets, plus 2 shoulder bags. I started mostly on downhill paths, took routes with the least turns to avoid tipping to one side, and I took newspaper from alternating sides to maintain the balance. Later on, I purchased winter-beaten bikes from graduates for $5 to restore and resell for 800% profit. Through trial and error, I learned that soaking bicycle chains in gasoline to remove rust. Perfectly unaware that fumes from the gasoline can catch fire and blow up. I'm surprised I'm even standing here today. But as they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Okay, I just told you 3 years of my early engineering career, and it's 7 minutes into my speech. I've got 30 more years to go. So I hope you brought some popcorn, and if you need a restroom break, just raise your hand. But seriously, I am proud of myself as a young engineer, but my experience pale in comparison with today's kids building multi-million-dollar businesses. Let me spare you the rest of my life story and jump to what I've learned in the last 30 years. Throughout my career, I consider myself a very lucky man. The famous basketball coach John Wooden phrased it best: luck is when preparation meets opportunity. I believe that we must always work hard to be prepared. Then when the opportunity presents itself, we'll be able to recognize it and seize the moment. Here are some of my preparation philosophies. Everything I do it to the best of my ability, so I never have any regrets, regardless of the outcome. Everything I see, I pay attention to the smallest details so that I don't miss the opportunity. Everything I've done, I can make it better, so I know that I have improved since the last time I did it. Everything I do, I make sure that they are logical to me first, so they become part of my philosophy. Every question I ask, I accompany it with my own answer, so I know I gave myself a chance to think about it. Everything I love with passion and give it all I got. And if all my preparation did not yield the result that I was expecting, it is only because that there is a brighter path waiting for me to discover. If people criticize or praise me, it means I have people that care about me. But neither praises or criticisms change me for the better or for the worse. That is all up to me. I encourage all of you to dream, and dream big, Without big dreams, there wouldn't be big opportunities. Welcome criticisms and praises with open arms, but do not be fooled by either. I close with this. Know yourself first before trying to influence others. Be yourself instead of trying to be others. Push yourself without others reminding you. Achieve it yourself before expecting it from others. Teach yourself before asking others. Do it yourself before requested by others. Most of all, work harder than anyone else, and always be a true engineer. A bright future is ahead of you. Enjoy this moment. Thank you, and congratulations to all of you.